So Liam Neeson has just come out and he said Star Wars is diluting the brand. There's too many spin-offs. Here's the clip.
I mean, it is a cult.
It is, yeah.
There's so many movies and spin-offs now, I think. No, you're diluting the whole thing. I think that's my personal thing.
I think the question is rising more and more as some of these big franchises, you know, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like that, as they start to build more and more and more. It's like 10 years ago, right? We might have just had like just the Lord of the Rings by itself, right? Maybe a Hobbit film, maybe 2. But now all of a sudden there's 6 films in the thing. And there's a show, and there's another show coming out. There's all of this stuff. The main things we're gonna talk about in today's video, okay? Number 1, is it good? Is it bad? Does the good outweigh the bad? And number 2, does it hurt the legacy of the original material? I'm gonna answer the second question first because I'm a weird guy like that. As far as does this new stuff hurt the impact of the original, I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna say yes and no. On one end, I think that the original, we'll say Star Wars films, the original 3, heck, you can even say the original 6. No matter how many shows come out in the future, that 6 will always be as good as it is. I don't think there's gonna be that much that can hurt the impact of the original trilogy, of the prequels, for the people that like the prequels. There's never gonna be a point where they make a show that's like, oh, that just ruined Empire Strikes Back for me. Me personally, I'm always gonna be someone who can look back at episodes 4 and 5 and 6 and episode 3, and I'm always going to be able to judge that for what it is. And if anything, it kind of feels like its own thing now. Like I watch new Star Wars shows and stuff like that, and it doesn't almost even feel connected to the old stuff. I think there are multiple reasons because of that. I think that some of the new Star Wars content, it doesn't feel like it has that essence of Star Wars. But overall, I'm going to say no, that I don't think that new shows and things like that can hurt the original content. However, I will say though that doesn't hurt the reputation of the brand. And I think that is a problem we're starting to have. It really sucks now we are getting to the point where there is more mediocre Star Wars content than there is really good Star Wars content. And it kind of makes the statement of like, I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm a big Star Wars fan, it makes that a little more complicated than it was a few years ago. Because like me, I would have said a few years ago that I am a big Star Wars fan, but because of the downgrade in quality for some of these shows, I'm losing interest. So I love the original trilogy. I like the prequels too. I like a lot of the lore. I think in general, the lore in 1, 2, and 3 really helped the franchise. And I've liked some of the new content, the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, for example. But like, can I even say I'm a big Star Wars fan if I don't like the Book of Boba Fett, or if I don't like this new show or this next show? It's starting to make that statement a little more complicated to where I'm saying like, oh, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but like just the original trilogy or just the first 6 films. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, does the good outweigh the bad? And what I mean by that is, yes, we're going to get mediocre stuff in any big franchise where they just keep pumping things out. The MCU, Harry Potter, we are going to get mediocre things. It's never going to be that good. It's just inevitable. You know, for Harry Potter, it has the last 2 Fantastic Beasts films. For something like Marvel, there's been plenty of mediocre things like that, especially post-Endgame. But also there is the potential for these really cool moments. Moments like in Mandalorian, right, where Luke comes back and he has this epic fight scene. Moments like in Obi-Wan, you know, where we get to see some awesome Darth Vader moments. Him catching the ship, freaking legendary, dude, so sick. And if anything, at the end of the day, I don't want to say I'm happy that we're getting all this new content, and I think that it is diluting the quality of the overall brand. I agree with Liam Neeson there. Again, this is in my opinion. I will always be able to enjoy those 6 films, those original ones. I like episode 7, and if the potential to get something awesome in the future awaits, I'm okay with the possibility of spin-off. Of course, we would want everything ideally to be awesome, but that's not the world we live in. unfortunately. And I do think that sometimes these big studios can get a little carried away with like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. It's like, no, slow down. Let's focus on the writing. Let's focus on this. And that's pretty much my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm uploading daily. Subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Please, please.